Hi everyone, welcome to our feature session number 5, applying to engineering and business majors. Here's the highlights for today. We will be beginning talking about engineering major, and we will start with engineering undeclared students and talk about engineering. If you're pre-major students, we will be talking about pre-major applications, and we will be talking about computer science and computer engineering's difference. A lot of the time, our students confuse these two majors as one single major, which is not true. We'll be talking about the difference. And lastly, we will be talking about business major and how to apply for business major and business minor. And here's the overview for each major. If you're engineering undeclared, the process that you go through is very different between engineering pre-major application. We'll be talking about the two differences and giving the introduction of each. And in terms of business, there is various prerequisites that you will need to take for a business major, and there you will have to complete WSA test and some application essays. So we will do a application quick pick and then give an introduction about different business leadership program and involvement program. Today we have two student panelists joining us. First, we have our Daniela. She is the PCL for a lot of Chinese RCG groups. Her major is civil engineering, and she is from China. And we have our another PCL for RCG Korea and Japan, Yun, joining us. Her major is business administration. So they will be giving introduction about their majors and the application process. And let me turn the floor to our PCL, Daniela.
Thanks, Jingyue. So hi everybody, I'm Daniela and I'm majoring in civil engineering, specifically structural engineering. And right now I'm the rising senior. So I'm gonna take charge of the engineering part with sharing my slides. So give me 1 second. Yep. So based on what I know from my students this year, I know many of you guys want to apply for mechanical engineering, like structural engineering, and some of you guys are from the engineering undeclared majors, and some of you guys are from like pre-science and get a little bit stressed about like what's the process gonna be look like? Is it very competitive? So we're gonna go over the major information here, and hopefully it's helpful for you who want to apply for engineering majors. First, I'm gonna do a general overview about all the engineering majors we have at UW. So on the left side, we can see there are around like 11 different majors. So all these majors are open to all of us, not only like engineering clear, but also the pre-science students. So if you want to look over like which major I want to explore in the next 3 years or 4 years. So what you can do is just like search at the UW website. That's the very direct way to get all the information at the first glance. And such as on the right side, we write down link. So what do these majors do? We can just Google search like UW engineering majors or just search on the UW website, like the mechanical engineering admissions, like more specific keywords here. And also one thing I noticed so far is like, even though you are very interested only in a specific major, we can also do the search directly on Google search. So such as I'm gonna do an example here, such as I'm from the civil and environmental engineering. So I'm just gonna do UWCE admission requirements. And then it's just gonna pull up directly. So that's very convenient. Whenever you wanna get those information, it's just like very easy, very accessible. And after we have a general idea about like what's the major gonna be look like, as we're gonna divide it into two parts. The first part is like for those students who are in the engineering undeclared, and then we're gonna go over the students who are from the pre-science. First, we're gonna talk about the engineering undeclared students. Let's see, we have the link here about all the information you need, which are listed on the engineering undeclared students website. So from here, there are three very important things I'm gonna go over in this kind of like 30 minutes. The first thing is about the placement into the major, which is the most important thing for us who want to get into the major, because it will be like what's the yep. Thank you, Xinyu. Xinyu is gonna post all the links in the chat box. So if you are with your laptop, you can just click on the link and then just go through the website with me together. Okay. So the first thing, like the placement into the major. So right now, if I'm an engineering undeclared student and I want to apply for the major at June after my first year, I'm gonna start from here. So after I click placement into the major, I'm gonna see all the information I need when I apply on the website and all the information I need about like the materials I need to submit. So let's go over it briefly. It's very simple. It's nothing gonna like really challenge you. It's more like just give you all the information to the admission center and they're gonna go over and then make a decision. The first thing is resume. So we say like, oh, we're gonna have a one-page resume, and basically you can write down all the activities you've done in the high school or all the clubs you've attended in the first year at UW. Also, I know like when back to my first year, I was so confused about like how to get started with the resume. What should I do? What information should I list there? So in the engineering department, there was a very useful career center. It's highlighted here. It's the career center at engineering. So when you have any questions regarding of the resume or your cover letters, you can directly make an appointment there or just drop in their office hours, and then to give them your resume and then take a look with getting the feedback. So this is very useful. So now I'm a rising senior, but I'm still gonna go to the career center every autumn quarter, because every year, the winter and the autumn quarter are gonna be the very popular time to apply for internships. And then before I apply for that, I'm gonna go to the career center to get some like feedbacks to revise my resume before the application. And then the second part is about the short answer responses. Basically, it's gonna be like the personal statement we wrote down when we applied for college. It won't be very hard. Basically, it's more tell about like your interest, your motivation, and your related background. And it's gonna be like 1 page long. When I applied for that, it's around like 1 page, like 500 words. So I just talk more about my previous lab experience at high school and my motivation and my career goal in the future, how I want to make the contribution back to the industry. So I just demonstrated like everything I motivated for this career, for this field. It won't be really hard. So to make a summary, it will be just 2 parts, the resume and a short answer responses essays if you are the engineering unclear students. So it won't be really hard. And then we back to the quick links here. There's gonna be another thing I wanna say is about the placement data. So why this is very important is because many students ask me like it's a very competitive to get into the engineering major, because they feel like, oh, if I'm not the engineering undeclared student, or if they are not like, if I'm not the direct to the college, it will be very competitive, or maybe I just apply to another major instead, just don't try engineering because that's just very hard. But the truth is that it's very likely, just as you do your best, it's very likely to get into your preferred major. So let's see, the first thing is about the data, how many people get into the major they like. We can see that this is the summer 2024, the placement cycle. So totally we have around like 900, 800 students there. And then we go to the specific major, we break it down into see like, what's the data, the rate, the percentage they got into their first choice. And we can see like, for this, it's 82 versus 76. And for some major, maybe like civil engineering, what I'm doing this year, it's like if you're the engineering unclear student and you want to do civil or structure, then it's like only 62 students apply for this major. And the placement, the availability they have is 85. So which means like it's like 100% thing. It's just like very likely. So just give it a try. And also for environmental engineering and also for human-centered design engineering. So the thing I want to say, if you were an engineering undeclared student, So don't worry too much about like get into the major. Just try your best and then follow all the emails sent by the department just to do whatever they ask you to do on time. And then it's very likely going to be a very smooth process with a satisfactory result. So don't be too worried about this. And then after we see the data, we feel like, oh, it's likely I have the possibility to get into my preferred major. Then what should we do when we have some questions we want to solve? Let's go to the undergrad advising. So if we come here, there is a very, very clear table about like different students, and then what's the advisors you need to reach out to. And we have like the 5 rows here. So the first time when I look at this table, I was a little bit confusing because I feel like there are so many different advisors here, and who I need to reach out to, I feel like that's a little bit confusing me. So to make a very brave recommendation, I just want to say, just go through to the department directly. Just for example, if I'm the civil engineering student and I have a question about the civil engineering admission, then I just go to the civil engineering advisors directly. That's always work. So I cannot say like that's 100% work, but just based on my friends and my experience, it's just more efficient. Just go to the major advisors directly because they have all the information. They are the judge to go over your applications. So that will be more efficient instead of like going through all the advisors one by one. Yeah. So this is a small tip here. Then let's go back to the slides and to go over the screenshots to emphasize on some stuff. So the first thing we mentioned just now is the placement into the major. Your resume, your short answer responses essay. And then we have the confidence like, oh, it's very likely because it's just very likely to get your first or second choice majors. Just don't worry about that. Just try. And after that, we mentioned about the advisors, right? Just go to the major advisors. So that's basically for the engineering undeclared students. If you want to apply to your preferred engineering major, that's the process. And the application time gonna be after your first year and in the June, and the results gonna be released most likely around August. So it will be like around a 1.5 to 2 month range. Give them the time. And if you didn't get a response, just reach out to them and then to say like, hey, hi advisor, when my results gonna be released or something like that. That's totally fine. And generally it's gonna take up around 2 months. Yep. After we talked about the engineering undeclared students, we're gonna move on to the non-engineering declared students. So what's the meaning of non-engineering students? It will be like, if I admitted at UW as the pre-science or pre-social science or just some other major students, and now I want to switch my major or I just want to apply to be an engineering student, what should I do? So comparing to the engineering undeclared students, as a pre-science student, my workload will be a little bit heavier, but just don't worry about that. Yeah, it's still very doable. The first thing is to make sure all the prerequisites you need to be done before apply to the major. Because as a pre-science student, there will be a little bit more classes you need to take, and there won't be any like class sample you can follow, you can reference for. At this time, it will be better just to make a table by yourself. It's about like maybe I have 10 classes to take before I apply, and then just make a table by your hand and just say like, okay, so this fall I'm gonna take these 3, next winter I'm gonna take these 4 to make sure you can apply on time. And there is a very important table we listed on the right part. We can see for the engineering major application deadlines, it's a little bit tricky because we can find out like such as for the computer engineering, it can apply both in autumn and in spring. So which means that you can apply twice per year. Just if you didn't get it, you can still apply another time, right? At the same year. But most likely, for many engineering majors, for the majority of them, we can see like the aerospace, we can see the civil engineering, we can see the electrical and computer engineering. Most of them only open the application in autumn. So that's very important. Why? Because if this year you forget, or this year you just maybe something just didn't be finished by time, and then you have to wait for another year, that will be a little bit like a lesson, because that will be like 1 year. Sometimes if there is a 1 year gap there, maybe it will like delay your graduation because you cannot take some professional classes on time then. So that will be a very important thing. So just keep the deadline in your mind to say like, if I want to apply for civil engineering, I'm going to apply in the autumn, in the first year autumn quarter. So wait, in the April 5th. So on that day, I'm gonna finish all my applications. So which means like I'm gonna finish all the prerequisites before that date, even before that quarter. So just keep that in mind, and then to plan your like class schedule. That's very important. And then also, as we said, like if I feel very stressful about that, what should I do? Let's look at the data. So the data here is like around 68% of all current UW students applicants are offered admission into an engineer major. So which means like it's also likely. I cannot say like it's just very likely or something, but it's more like it's the reasonable rate. It's not like just 1%, 10%, 50%. It will be like 68. It's still like likely you can make it, right? And let's say like the right, like the chart, we can see if you're doing the bio, you're doing the civil, environmental, or material science, it's very likely if you want to like chemistry, material science, something like, and also for ECE, it's, you can see the rate is like 100, like 93, 92. So it's still good. It's still, I feel like that's, you can make it, right? That's just, don't stress yourself too much. Try your best in your first year and everything gonna be work out. So that's what I want to say. And also for the ECE, so based on my observation, because ECE is a new engineering major, it was just established 2 years ago. It's very new. So most people in the electrical engineering major right now, they can make a decision by themselves because the department gonna send out an email and say like, hey, do you want to choose the EE, like electrical engineering or electrical and computer engineering? Which major you prefer? Which degree you want when you graduate, and showing on your diploma. And some students say like, oh, I want to do EE because that's the traditional one. Some students say I want to do ECE because I want to do some computer engineering stuff embedded in the major. So then you're gonna make the decision at that time. So based on my observation experience, I feel like the rate for ECE gonna be like drop a little bit gradually as it's been more popular. So it's gonna be like it's gonna be like drop a little bit maybe, but it's still doable. Just try your best. That's the most important thing. Yeah. Then I say engineering. So also I received some like questions from my students. They asked me like, right now I'm already an engineering undeclared student, or I just want to try, I want to switch from like engineering college to computer science or computer engineering. What I want to say, like, it's more likely to, it's easier to transfer from engineering college to the computer science or computer engineering instead of transfer to computer engineering, computer science from other STEM majors. Yeah, it's just a little bit easier to transfer from engineering school. So if you're the engineering undeclared student and want to do computer, just the pure computer thing is also doable. It's also doable. Just try. Yeah, just no hurts. It's no hurts to apply for the majors you like and then make the decision after you got all the offers, right? So, but there is another question coming up. It's like, what's the difference between the computer science and computer engineering? They are similar, but a little bit different. So for the computer science, when you apply for it, you don't need to take physics 123, so which will be more about the wave, the light, the optics, more of those stuff. If you want to do computer science, then you just do physics 121 and 122. So it's more like electricity and more like the mechanics. Yeah, but if you want to do computer engineering, you're going to take one more physics class before you apply for that. It's the physics 123 about the wave, the light, the optics, all those stuff. So yeah, so maybe a little bit more work in your first year. Yeah. Besides that, we can see like for the computer science major is under the College of Arts and Science. So which means like your degree gonna be Bachelor of Science. And for the computer engineering, your your like degree will be more like Bachelor of Science, Bachelor of Engineering. So it's more like under the engineering college. And you can take other engineering certificates because it's ABET. So what's the ABET means? It's like UW is an ABET credit school. So if you take your engineering major here, you are qualified to take almost all the certification, like all the exams, just in the industry. So that's what I did. Basically, right now, so all the certificates I need to get because I'm gonna graduate from UW. So that's just very very convenient. You can just do directly after you graduate. There are no other classes you need to take. But if you go to other schools and then do other like engineering program, maybe you need to take some other additional classes. So yeah, that's really nice at UW. So for the content, computer science will be more about theories, and for computer engineering, it will be more about like some hardware. That's the difference here. So it depends on your preference. Yep. Then the last thing I want to say is about the engineering organizations. We have so many clubs here, and you can just try whatever you want. And in the first year, there will be the Husky Discovery Day. There will be like 2 days on campus. There are so many booths there, so you can just go through and then see what activities they have, and it will be like the just the short, just like the small picture of what the clubs are doing. And also, I want to emphasize on the last one, the National Engineering Honor Society, the Tau Beta Pike, because I'm the vice president there. So I just encourage if you are qualified, you will receive an email at the end of your first year, and just feel free to apply for that if you want to be a member in the society. And we offer many like benefits there, and we can just talk more about that in the future. So one thing I still want to say is about the applications for these clubs, or how can I get the information about those clubs? Instagram. So I think that's very easy way to get all the information on time. It's just like on the Instagram and then search for those club names. You can see all the advertisements or just all the activities they're doing recently, and they're gonna also post the applications availability, something like that, on their Instagram website. So just follow their Instagram and see their updates. Yep. And then apply. Yep. So basically that's everything for the engineering majors. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me in the Q&A part or just leave the messages in the chat box. I'm gonna answer these questions. Yep, and then we can move on to the business part. Oh, wait, and one thing for the engineering scholarships, sorry for that. So for the engineering scholarships, what is gonna be like? So engineering, I just got one engineering scholarship this morning. It's from my department, and that's really nice. And based on what I heard, it's like everybody who applied for that gonna get a little bit amount, like a little bit like scholarship because you applied and you are still in your major. So we're gonna give you those like that's just very nice. So how can I know this information? The first thing you can do is also Google search UW engineering scholarships. That's very just straightforward. And another thing, just like pay attention to your emails, because all the engineering advisors, they are gonna send out an email just maybe 3 times before the application due. So they're just gonna tell you apply, and then you'll just apply. It's very easy. It's just an essay, 500 words, and then just describe what's your career goal. So they're gonna just disperse those scholarships based on your type, just like which scholarship can match your purpose, like something like that. So just apply when you become an engineering student. And also you can apply if you're a first year engineering unclear student. So just don't miss that opportunity. Okay. Yeah, that's all from me. So we're gonna move to the business part. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you, Daniela. Now I think Shinya already introduced me, but to introduce myself again, my name is Yoon. I'm a business major student. I was a freshman direct student, but I'll try my best to explain the standard admission part and all the tips and things you can do within business major. Continue. All right. So let's start with business major. I'm not sure how many of you are already admitted to Foster or planning to apply to Foster, but basically, when you get into Foster, you are a business major student, but within business major, there are many different focuses, and these are the focuses that you can choose: accounting, entrepreneurship, finance, human resources management, information systems, marketing, operations, and supply chain management. And as a current Foster student, what I've realized that is very common for students to do double focuses. For example, I'm a business major student, but I'm planning to do marketing and finance. If it's okay if you just focus on one. For example, accounting, I think it's very common for accounting major students to just focus on accounting and not doing any double focuses. But for marketing major students, it's very common to combine it with information systems or finance. So that's something you can keep in your mind. Each focuses have different requirements, so you want to check that on the UW webpage. Also, what I want to mention is information systems and operations and supply chain management is considered as STEM major. And this is very important. It could be very helpful for you because STEM major gets a longer OPT and CPT. If you're not familiar with what OPT and CPT is, so usually international students cannot work off campus. As a F1 visa holder, you can only work on campus job. But with the OPT and CPT, you can get a job or work off campus while studying here. And when you're a STEM major, that period of like authorization gets longer. I heard that STEM major students get 3-year-long OPT, while usually other majors get only a year-long OPT. So that's something you want to consider when you choose your focuses. And now we're going to look at what kind of career paths you have when you choose your focuses. So information systems, you can go into more like tech companies usually, like analytics, tech consulting, general consulting, product management. But basically, if you do information systems, you will be doing some coding. So if you're interested in doing codings, it could be a very good fit for you. Supply chain, you do analytics, supply chain analytics, project management, marketing, it's just marketing, advertising, sales. Finance is like fintech roles, consulting and banking. Accounting is, of course, audit accountant. I think Foster accounting is very, very strong. I heard that among these different focuses, if you get accounting, you don't really have to worry about getting a job because they're so they're like huge auditing companies in Seattle that even visit our school to give them like talks or like introduce their recruitment process and stuff. So accounting could be a very, very strong choice for you if you're interested in like if you want to get a solid job. And then human resources management and entrepreneurship. So we have like you can check more in detail about what kind of jobs you can get by different focuses. Now I'm going to talk about standard admission. So basically, let's first look at this link. If you're going through the standard admission, there are several things you'll have to prepare. So I'll recommend to go through this link thoroughly. Really, like you have to understand every part of this link. And it's very well organized, so it won't be that difficult to understand. But we're going to start with eligibility. So you have to have a total of at least 60 numerically graded college credits. You have to earn at least 2.0 cumulative GPA. And you have to take this writing skills assessment, and then complete the required prerequisite courses. So let's look at the prerequisite courses and admission criteria. There are two different kinds of prerequisite courses. There are pre-application courses and pre-admission courses. So pre-application courses means you have to complete this and have the grade ready before the application deadline. And the application deadline is April 5th for autumn, summer, or October 5th for winter. So if you apply by April 5th, you'll be able to get into the Foster by autumn quarter, the next autumn quarter. And if you apply by October 5th, you'll be entered Foster as in winter quarter. And calculus, this is a very common class. Calculus Math 112 is specifically for business students. Like it's like a business math. And then 124 is like a more general math that, as far as I know, many engineering students take too. And this is a pre-application. We also have English composition, financial accounting, microeconomics that are pre-application, which mean you have to complete these courses before you apply to Foster. And then pre-admissions are like macroeconomics, managerial accounting, introduction to law, statistical methods. And these are pre-admission, which means you can take this while you're applying to the school, but you have to have it completed by the last day of spring quarter for autumn admission and by the last day of the autumn quarter for winter admission. So just depending on when you're planning to apply to Foster, make sure that you complete all of these classes and have the grade ready. And also, I'll just recommend to go through these classes details because like a lot of these are prerequisites for the other. For example, you have to take accounting 215 before you take accounting 225. So just check those stuffs before you apply. Now we're gonna go to the writing skills assessment. I personally didn't go through this process, but I think there are many, many steps that you have to get prepared for. So basically, this test is you have to write for 2 prompts within 90 minutes. You have like a workshop too, and then the tasks are persuasion task and position task. If you want to get a better score, I would highly recommend to download this rubric. It's a very long PDF file. It's like it has like 10 different kinds of rubric. So you want to check like what's the criteria of how are they gonna score, how are they gonna grade your writing. All right, so approximately 30% to 50% of applicants between 550 and 650 are admitted. Some admission factors you want to keep in mind is that combined GPA is going to be 40% of the index score, pre-application GPA is 25%, and then writing skills assessment is 35%. So GPAs are very important, and writing skill assessment is very important as well. And you can check the timeline. For autumn quarter application, you have to take the test between December 1st and May 31st. For spring quarter application, you have to take the test between June 1st and November 3rd. One thing you want to keep in mind is you are allowed to take the test only one per testing period. So during this December to May 31st, you can take only once. And you have to take the test before the application deadline, April 5th or October 5th. And the scores are valid for 2 years. All right. If you don't already have a UW-Net ID, which I'm pretty sure you must have, you're taking the WSA soon, 1 quarter or less before applying to Foster. If you're taking the WSA early, you have multiple quarters before applying to UW Foster, and you can request a sponsored Net ID for this. So basically, to get a high score, review the rubric. You can check it here. Again, you have to go to the website and then just click here to download a PDF file of it. And then you want to review the online presentation. They have like a whole presentation about this writing skill assessment because it is that important. There's like this WSA format, scoring rubrics, prompt explanations, outline responses, improvement strategies, WSA practice prompts. So you want to make sure that you go through these slides carefully and then maybe try practicing it. So WSA is something you have to prepare before you apply. And then we also have business minor. If you think business major is just too much, and if you're not sure, or if you have a different interest within UW that you want to try a different major and just want to do a minor business, that's a really good idea. It's like a lighter weight than majoring. So this is the business minor page. If you see the curriculum, this is like the requirements you have to fill in to minor in it. So it consists of 5 core courses and 1 to 2 approved electives for a minimum of 27 credits. And you have to earn 2.0, of course, and then minimum of 15 credits must be at the 300 and 400 level, and the minimum of 15 credits applied to the minor must be completed in residence at the UW Seattle. This means that at least 15 credits have to be earned at UW. If you're studying abroad, you might get some credits from there, but 15 credits must be applied 15 credits applied to like the minor must be completed at the UW campus. And these are like the core courses that you have to take, like the 5 core courses. And these are the elective courses that you can choose to minor in business. And I think minoring in business is a very common and a good idea. Like even if you're not a business major, if you're interested in business or if you want to combine it within your major, that's a really good idea to do it. Yeah, but this is like a quick summary of it. 5 core courses, 1 to 2 approved electives. Inform your major academic advisor or intention to do a minor in business and start taking classes like the core courses and the electives. You can also go to the advising. They have drop-in advising with Foster School. You can also email them or find more information here, the page we just looked at. All right. And then let's say if you're already in Foster or if you're interested in doing Foster, what I really want to mention is getting admitted to Foster is awesome. That's amazing. It's good. But that's not enough because Foster school students are usually very competitive, very, very passionate. They're very driven. So and Foster also like provides many different programs, competitions, resources. So you want to make sure that you are using 100% of what Foster is offering to you. For example, here we have different kind of centers, communities, and RSOs. We have Foster Consulting Program, peer-to-peer mentorship program, Foster RSOs. I personally recommend to check out this because in freshman year, I think it's really common for students to join RSOs to get used to the school vibe and make connections with other Foster students. If you go to this web page, it has like a organized list of business related RSOs at UW. Basically, if you join any of these RSO, you'll have a better chance to make connections with business students. For example, like this kind of alpha kappa side, these are like fraternity and sororities. And we also have Ascend UW Asian Business. I think ABSA, this Asian Business Student Association, they do like professional stuffs too, but it's kind of networking among students kind of focus. Ascend UW is a very big nonprofit Pan-Asian business organization. So if you're interested in East Asian or Pan-Asian business, you can join Ascend UW. We also have Association of Black Business Students. If you're interested in this group, you can join there. Latino professionals, these are like fraternities and sororities. Some I know about Impact Group, but the best way to get information about all of these RSOs is visiting their Instagram, which is not listed here, but I want to show you like a quick. So if you go to Instagram, you can look up all different kind of RSOs, and they usually have, for example, UW Investment. This is like a Foster RSO that is related to banking. If you're interested in banking, finance, this could be a RSO you can join. If you follow the Instagram, you can get all the information, all the events they're doing. And I think they did a lot of professional job among UW RSO. So if you're interested in banking, I would definitely recommend to follow their Instagram. So we have RSOs. What else do we have? We have undergraduate Foster Leadership Academy, undergraduate diversity services, GVC, Holman Global Leaders Program application. This is like a very big competition. It's not only held in Washington, it's held across the, oh, maybe not this one, the Dempsey one. The Dempsey Startup Competition. If you're interested in startup, this is a competition that is held among Washington, Oregon, Idaho, British Columbia, as well as Alaska. And like the prize is around range between like 10K to 25K. So it's like a huge competition that you might want to check out. We also have Betathon, Analytics, Insights Project, Foster Global Ambassador Program. So there's just a lot of different kind of programs, but some projects that I wanted to introduce you, it was CISB, and then Professional Sales Program and Foster Leadership Academy. For CISB, this is like a international business certificate. So if you're interested in learning a language or having like a specific concentrate of a country in your business, for example, I'm studying Chinese because I'm want to focus on East Asia and US international business. So I'm doing the Chinese track. And you can apply to both Foster and the SISME program at the same time. But I do want to mention that SISME curriculum is pretty heavy because you have to complete 3-year level of language courses. So I have to take Chinese for 3 years. And you also have to study abroad in that country. And you also have to take some regional classes that is related to your track country. But I think that makes this program very strong. So if you're interested in international business, I would definitely recommend to check out these. If you're interested in sales program, or like if you're interested in like entrepreneurship and leadership, we also have like Foster Leadership Academy that you might want to check out. But before I end the business part, what I really want to say to business students is that if you get into I really hope that you get into the Foster. And once you get into the Foster, don't stop there. Keep finding resources, keep finding different programs that suits you the best, find your interest and make your community there and try everything you can do and within that community. Because there's just too many things, too many good opportunities you can catch, like so many competitions you can participate, so many programs, so many certificates you can try out. And if you're not sure which one is the best, it's always a good idea to go to the advising office This is like the Foster School of Business. You can, if you go to the main page, there's basically this advising. And they do advising not only for foster students, but also like prospective foster students. So students who are interested in becoming a foster student. So you can check out all of the office hours or how to make an appointment with them. Yeah, and I think having knowledge and doing some research about what kind of programs Foster offer is a good idea to do before you do your application, because when I looked at the application process for standard admission, you guys have to write you'll have to write like a statement, right? So when you write about the statement, if I was you, I would probably connect that with like my plan of what I'm gonna do within Foster. For example, the personal statement, the essay prompt number 2 is, the purpose of the Foster School is to develop leaders who strive to better humanity through business. How do you plan to leverage your experience to advance Foster's purpose? So you'll have to include how your own cultural awareness has shaped your desire to have an impact as a future business leader. So in this prompt, what I would do is I would write about what I have done in my high school, or like they don't really recommend writing about high school if you graduated like too long time ago. But if you just graduated high school, it's okay to write about the experience in your high school. So I could say like, what did I do in a high school to improve my society? And then I can write about, oh, I learned about this program at Foster, and I really want to enjoy this program to continue this work within Foster and reach my goal. So that could be something that show to the judge, that show to the admission office that this student has not only been working on, but they have a clear picture and they have a clear plan on how they're going to continue that work within our school, how they're going to continue like carrying on Foster School. So I think that could be a really, really strong way to appeal for yourself. And this is not only like Foster, I think any major students, if you do some research about your own school that you're applying to, you could use that. You can utilize that resources within your personal statements. Yep, so that's some tips from my side. But basically you'll have to like look up, and I would recommend to carefully look at the Foster School pages. And I think many of you might be interested in internship. For business students, what we say is if you don't do an internship, don't graduate. But it's that important to do an internship for Foster, like for business students. It's very common for students to do their internship in their junior year. And I think it's very scary because it's like almost like a requirement to do an internship before you graduate. But the tip is apply early as much as you can. So if you want to do an internship for the next summer, you want to apply by like September, start looking about the internships in September and apply it by October. And it's open until April, but earlier is better. And we have Big Four, Deloitte, Ernst Young, KPMG, PwC. And I know that there's my friend, she's working she's doing an internship for Deloitte in New York right now. And when I asked her, she told me that having some other internship experience is really helpful. So don't try to work in like a big company right away. You can try like startup companies, you can try like smaller companies, on-campus job, try like smaller experiences first in your second year and maybe during your third year, and apply for bigger companies. Yep, and you can, I'm not sure if you guys already know about Handshake, but Handshake is like a UW job posting website. So you can check out here to look up some jobs or internship opportunities. Many UW on-campus jobs are posted here. And that's it from business major.
Okay, sounds good. Let me reshare my screen. Thank you so much, both Daniela and Heiyun. They both are really outstanding students at UW, and we have a lot to learn from them. So if you guys have any questions, we have a Q&A sessions on the very end. Make sure you speak to them, get more resources, and talk to them. Yeah. So basically, the takeaway today is allow yourself to explore with a focus. If you're a pre-major, whether you're a pre-science or pre-humanity major, you can apply to any desired major at UW. If your desired major is business, explore the business website. If your desired major is one of the major fall under near the engineering school, then you should start looking at the engineering school and get prepared early. Both business and engineering majors are capacity constrained majors. So if you are applying intended to apply to this major, you should probably have plan B or C. So for business, I think a lot of students have economics as a backup plan, as a plan B. So if you don't, how do I say, like, don't put your egg in one bucket, try to spread it out. So because at UW, capacity constrained major is a little competitive. So of course, shoot for the stars, plan your best to your desired major, but also have a plan B or C, have a minimum required major or open major as a backup is a good idea, such as economics, informatics, and ECO majors. So besides GPA, just like Haeyun just mentioned, your extracurricular experience is very important to help you stand out. So start looking for research opportunities, connect with student RSO leaders, get some leadership experience, and start volunteering. And of course, all the classes and major application has a minimum GPA requirement, but higher the GPA, the better the application gonna look. So if you cannot get a super high GPA or cannot get a certain class at UW, you can take it from somewhere else. Always check it with your departmental academic advisor first. And if they accept, then sometimes you can get higher GPA if you take the class outside of UW, take it in a community college or summer school classes. But make sure you always check with your departmental academic advisor and see if they would accept that class. You don't want to take it and come back and UW says, sorry, we don't take this class. Finally, sometimes it's not about how fast you can get into a major, but it's really about what you want and whether you are willing to work hard and smart for a major. It's really common for students to join a major in their sophomore and even junior year. So make sure you have a plan and think ahead for what you're gonna do with your majors. Again, today is our part 5 at August 6th, the major and minor exploration panel. Next week, we will, in terms of feature session, we'll be going over more than just a degree. Hey, you mentioned briefly about Handshake. We will be teaching about Handshake and LinkedIn Learning in our next session. And our next session is all about finding job and internship, both on-campus job and off-campus job at UW, and introduce different work eligibility. So what's CPT? What's OPT? How can you apply for CPT and OPT? How can you apply for social security number once you have a job offer? And all of those information. Highly recommend everyone to come join that session. And similarly, our core session number 5, Arrival 101, is a very important session. It has all the important details that you will need to know. Airport transportation, all the moving process if you are living in on-campus dorms. If cell phone plan, how to start, make a phone number, how to start banking in the USA, and ISS has a post-arrival check-in. So how to complete that post-arrival check-in. So make sure you show up to your core session number 5, to your RCG PCLs group. And in terms of weekend activities, David is leading a trivia night this weekend. So hope everyone can check it out. And yeah, I mentioned this, so make sure you attend our next feature session. It's probably one of the most important sessions this summer. And right now is our time for Q&A. If you have any questions, feel free to leave it in the chat and raise your hand.